What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV, bringing you the best of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 content Monday through Friday. I am feeling a little bit better now, so we're going to get into some more meaty commentaries. Next week, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of golden weapon reviews because I really need to catch up on that. But in today's video, we're looking at a new First Look Reticles episode. Today, we're looking at the second set of Varix 3 multiplayer reticles. That would be the Nucleus, Clutch, Notch, and Peak reticles. Now, a lot of these reticles are very similar. They're all similar in color. They're similar in style, except they all kind of, I don't know, they all have like a weirdness to them that I don't really like any of these ones except for Peak. I really like Peak. I don't like the other three too much, so let's dive right into it. So the first one that you're seeing right now on the Locust is the Nucleus, and it's, I mean, it's not bad. It's got that weird color, the yellow and blue. It's kind of hard to see, which is going to be a consistent problem across Nucleus, Clutch, and Notch. So it's kind of hard to see. It's very bright, and that brightness will blend into the sky. It'll blend into bright environments, and it can just be tricky to see. Now, it's not really amazing to look at either. It's pretty much a yellow dot with a little blue U under it, kind of, that's right attached to it. I don't know really how to explain it, but it's nothing great to look at. It's not very practical just because it's so bright and it will blend into the environment so well. The Nucleus Reticle will actually require 200 kills while aiming down sights with the Varix 3. Awesome little no scope and then a 360 there for the final of that clip. Now, we're moving right along into the Clutch Reticle. The Clutch Reticle is the next step up. It's 300 kills while aiming down sights with the Varix 3, and I chose a very poor weapon for showing off this reticle and showing off this optic in this clip. I mean, the Weevil, this was pre-Weevil buff, so it's not very good. It's pretty bad, and I'm trying to use the Varix 3, and it's got this terrible recoil, and these were just like the two clips that I could get the best. There wasn't a lot of clips that I could do that I was doing very well. So these were just like the two best clips. I think I'm gonna get like 2 kills in each of them. So it wasn't the greatest gameplays for this Weevil stuff for this Clutch Reticle, but I mean, we work with what we got. I'm trying to show off all the reticles and optics on some of the more different kind of crazy guns. So, like, stuff like the thermal sight, you can only put it on assault rifles, LMGs, and sniper rifles. So I can't really, I don't have the opportunity to show those off on SMGs and stuff. So when I'm doing SMGs, I got to do more wackier sights like the Varix 3 to kind of just get that variation in the gameplays all the time. So I am using the Weevil. They're not the best gameplays, but the reticle itself, the Clutch Reticle, is probably, in my opinion, the worst reticle of the Varix 3 reticles. Like, of all of the Varix 3 reticles, the Clutch is the worst, and let me tell you why. If you actually look very, very hard at this reticle, sometimes it will be lopsided. I don't know if it's a glitch, I don't know what's going on there, but it will actually be lopsided. It's got this kind of square. It's kind of like a rounded off square, and there's a dot in the middle. Ever so often, you'll start a game, and the dot in the middle will actually be off to the left, and it will just be extremely. It won't, like, when you fire the bullets, they won't go to where the dot is. They go to where the middle of the optic is. But the dot can sometimes just like appear a little bit to the left. I don't know if that's just my game, or maybe it's like, it could just be my game and I might just be crazy, or I might just be crazy, but I do believe that it appears a little bit to the left because I've picked up enemy weapons with this reticle and the dot has been lopsided. So it's just a weird reticle. It's a glitchy. I don't like it, and it's that bright blue and yellow. It's going to blend into the environment. It's not really cool to look at. It's not really practical. It's just another one to stay away from. Now, the next reticle that we'll be looking at is the Notch Reticle, which suffers from a lot of the same problems as the Nucleus and Clutch, and even the Centrix from the last Varix 3 First Look Reticle video, which I will link in the description and the card in the top right corner. So the Notch Reticle has the same problems. It's yellow and blue. I don't know what they were thinking with this yellow and blue for the Varix 3. Those are just like the standardized colors for the Varix 3, apparently, in that they all of these reticles are yellow and blue, but these colors do not work in this game because the game is so bright and colorful to begin with. Yellow and blue blend into things. Unless you're playing on like really dark maps, you're gonna have a hard time trying to see people with these reticles. Now, the notch reticle is a little bit better than the nucleus and clutch, just because it's got a nice point to it. It's very, very pointy, very practical. You know where your bullet is going to hit. Whereas the nucleus and the clutch have got like these big thick dots in the middle, which can be a little problematic. So the notch has a nice point. You definitely know where the bullet's going to hit. It's not a problem there. It's just the color again, guys. The yellow and blue just doesn't work with this game because there's so many colorful maps. There's so many bright and colorful things, especially in the DLC. When we get DLC, we get the developers go a little crazy when we get DLC, and they start making like crazy, colorful, flashy maps that are supposedly super realistic or super futuristic, and they get really bright. And when things are really bright, this reticle will tend to blend into the environment. Even when things are kind of dull, like even on Fringe, I've talked about Fringe with some of the orange reticles in this game, how people have been telling me that the orange reticles in this game are kind of hard to use because they blend into the environment. Well, the yellow reticles blend into the environment, especially on like Fringe, way more than the orange reticles would ever do. So these yellow reticles are very hard to use. I don't care for them too much. I don't think they're not very practical just because they blend in with the environment, and it can be hard. You can lose like the line of sight on your enemies. You might not know where your enemies are. You might have trouble hitting them. So that's a big problem when it comes to the nucleus, clutch, and notch reticles. When we get to the peak reticle, it's a lot different, and I really like the peak reticle. It's probably one of my favorite Varix 3 reticles just because it's so different. Whereas a lot of the reticles in this game kind of take one certain color on. Like in the multiplayer section, you've got the Varix 3 is yellow and blue. When you go to the recon, you get a lot of orange, and when you go to the reflex, you get a lot of orange as well. So you get like certain colors on certain optics, and I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they couldn't make it more dispersed, more colors of the rainbow for all these different reticles. So I mean, but what can you do? I just review the reticles. I don't make them myself. But if I did make them, they would definitely be a lot more colorful. You wouldn't have to get through 500 kills with all of your reticles or with all of your optics before you get to the actual like colorful and different kind of reticles. So with that out of the way, the notch reticle actually requires 400 kills while aiming down the sights with the Varix 3. And yeah, so now we're moving on to the peak reticle. The peak reticle you should be seeing in just a couple seconds. The notch reticle episode, or the notch reticle videos went on pretty long. They were some long ones, and I was actually kicking a lot of ass with this Gorgon. So both of the clips for the notch reticle are quite long. So I'll just like commentate through that while we wait to get to the peak reticle, because the peak reticle is actually going to be pretty short, because I used that on the M8A7 and I kind of like went ham and got like a 4-man, and then I might have got like a 6-man. I think I got a full ace with the first clip of the peak reticle, just because I like that reticle so much and I like the gun that I was using. Whereas with other stuff in this video, I've been trying to use like weird kind of different things so I can show off optics on different guns. So this notch reticle requires 400 kills while aiming down the sights. The peak reticle will require 500 kills while aiming down sights with Varix 3, and then once you get those 500 kills, you'll have access to the final 4 multiplayer reticles, which we will be reviewing pretty soon. We just got to get through that last thermal sight, the mid 4 for the thermal sight, and then we'll be getting into the final 4, which I'm probably going to have to split into 2 and 2, because they're going to have a lot more to talk about in those videos. I'm going to have to talk about the challenges that you have to do to get each of the reticles unlocked, so that's going to be a little bit better. We won't be trying to kill time in between, because the videos are going to be so long like these ones. Now for rambling out of the way, let's talk about this peak reticle. This is my favorite, or one of my favorite Varix 3 reticles, because it's a different color. This is a different color than any other reticle in the game, I believe. It's like lime green. It's so different. Like, you've got all these yellow and blues, and you've got these oranges, and you've got a lot of the same colors throughout the whole game. And then this one is just completely different. When you're in the menus, it looks like it's going to be yellow. You're looking at it like, oh great, another yellow reticle. But then when you get it in game, it appears lime green in color. It's just a very, very subtle green, and it won't blend into anything. I don't think there's a single thing in this entire game that's the same color as this peak reticle. So I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. I think it's very practical. It's got a nice point. It's got a thin box around the point, which isn't going to get in your way too much. I mean, it's very, very thin. It's not going to get in your way. It's not going to be it's not obstructive. It's just for kind of for decoration. So yeah, it's kind of a decorative kind of reticle, but it is very, very, very practical because it's got this nice solid point, and it's a very nice color that won't blend into your environment. I think this is a great reticle. Now that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. I know there was a lot of rambling and stuff in this video, just because of some of the clips in this video were quite long. But yeah, that's just what we kind of have to work with right now. Once we get through the mid 4 of all of the reticles, which all we have to do now is thermal, then we're gonna get into some more straightforward commentaries. It's just gonna be like, this is the reticle. This is how you unlock it. This is what I think about it. Done. It's gonna be really, really quick once we get into the campaign and zombies reticles. Whereas these ones have been a little bit slow, but I told you like way back when we started doing the middle reticles that these ones were gonna kind of be like this, because I'm trying to cram them all together so I don't have to mix them with the challenge reticles. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what kind of video I'm doing. I might do those thermal reticles tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.